In this section, we're going to talk about the three big confusers, three ideas that will get in the way of you being able to communicate simply and clearly to your players, coaches, and fans. Idea number one, sarcasm. Take it from me, sarcasm simply does not work on the field or court. Believe me, I've tried for over 15 years. It doesn't work. I tried again a few weeks ago. I tried to explain a flag football rule to somebody. They hated the rule. I said, hey, don't worry. For you, we won't use that rule anymore for the rest of the game. I thought it was super funny, super hilarious. Second half, same rule comes up. Other player comes up. Ref, I thought you said we weren't using that rule anymore. Didn't get the sarcasm at all. If you're like me and you love the deadpan comedy like Ben Stiller or the sarcastic comedy, that's great. If you can pull that off in your personal life, that's great. Don't bring it to the field or court. Because in essence, what you're doing is you're kind of explaining something that isn't really existing or didn't really happen. You walk into a room and the radio is blaring. And instead of walking in the room and saying, hey, can you turn down that music? It's really loud. You say something sarcastic like, boy, are you sure that music is loud enough? And then somebody who's confused might be, well, so do you want me to turn the music up even louder? It creates the alternate side of what you want somebody to do or what you actually feel. It's kind of a version of indirect communication. So drop the sarcasm. Comedy and humor can be a great diffuser. Don't bring sarcasm as part of that comedy or humor. Confuser number two, the idea of negative communication patterns. This is a bit of a high-level idea, so let's go through it. Negative communication pattern deals with the idea that you're kind of explaining either what didn't happen or what you don't want to happen. Again, notice that I'm saying didn't and don't, because not is the key phrase that crops up over and over again. Your friend comes up and says, hey, do you want to go to the store? And you say, well, I don't see any reason why I can't go to the store with you. Instead of saying, yeah, let's go to the store. Again, another version of indirect communication. You'll hear this crop up a lot with sports announcers. Well, there's nothing that QB can't do on the field. Instead of saying, that person's a great QB. So try and eliminate those phrases, because what they'll do is that the intention is that they kind of make it easier to give people bad news. If somebody comes up and says, hey, what do you think of this piece of music, this piece of writing I just did? You might say, well, it's not so good. Instead of saying, well, that's really bad. But in some cases on the field, you might need to just be direct and say, that's really bad. You might just need to get to the point and not kind of couch your language in these kind of negative communication patterns, right? And you'll hear it in the umpire referee. Well, that was not a strike. Well, that was not a first down. But what do people on the field hear? They hear first down. They hear strike, and then you spend the next 30 seconds, no, what I said was that was not a strike. I mean, what I actually meant to say, there's a name for something that's not a first down. It's probably fourth and short, fourth down. There's a name for something that's not a strike. It's a ball. So be very careful when you hear yourself or other referees and umpires starting every phrase with not or don't or can't or isn't, because that's just going to create more confusion down the line. And try and be direct and raw and simple and clear and get to what you actually want to explain to players. Because again, out on the field, they're just not able to handle nuance. On the field, nuance and complexity are your enemy. You want to stay as far away from them as possible when it comes to comedy and when it comes to negative communication patterns. You also want to stay away from complexity when it comes to our perhaps biggest confuser, our third big confuser, which is the idea of classroom talk. Classroom talk deals with the idea of the curse of knowledge. Basically, you start explaining stuff to somebody as if you're talking to yourself, because you can't remember what it was like when you didn't know what they don't currently know. In other words, there was a time when you didn't know the rule book. There was a time when you didn't understand the rules of the league you're reffing. Many players are going to still be in that situation, but because you have experience, it's hard for you to remember what it's like from their perspective. In many cases, the more experience you have, the more you understand the rule book, the more you understand the handbook, the harder it is to communicate, because you're constantly referencing the rule book, the handbook, and you're referencing, most importantly, the way you were taught the rules in a classroom setting when you first got trained. So somebody will explain a rule or a procedure or a policy to you, and you just try and teach the player in the same way. But again, it doesn't work. You use inside language and abbreviations and concepts that make sense to you. That's why it's the curse of knowledge. but they don't make sense to new players and new coaches and new captains. So whenever possible, can you try and simplify your language? And I'll give you a couple of good ideas to think about. When we talk about simple language, the background behind Green Eggs and Ham, which sold over 8 million copies, is that the guy who wrote Green Eggs and Ham had a bet with his editor. And his editor said, I bet you $50 that you can't write a kid's book using 50 words or less. And he won the bet, $1 a word, because Green Eggs and Ham only contains 50 words. So that's why it sold over 8 million copies, because it's so simple, because kids will gravitate towards it when they're learning how to read, because it's so simple and so repetitive. That's why it's a children's classic, because of the simplicity, not because of the complexity. If you want a modern day version of Green Eggs and Ham, a guy named Randall Munroe made a book called Thing Explainer, where he takes some of the most complicated ideas in human history, and space shuttles, and nuclear power plants, and oil rigs, and uses only the 1,000 most common words in the English language to describe these super complex things. That's why it's called Thing Explainer. It's not called Complicated Dissertation. It's called Thing Explainer. When in doubt, can you simplify your language? Because that's what great referees do. Great referees always seem to slow things down, and great referees always seem to simplify things so anybody can understand them. When you're still stuck in beginner brain, you're always trying to speed things up, and you're always, whether you realize it or not, confusing and complicating things. And that's kind of what the three big confusers all have in common. They're all complicators because they're all forms of indirect communication. Sarcasm, you're kind of dancing around what you actually want the person to do instead of being direct. Negative communication pattern, you're explaining what didn't happen as opposed to what did happen. And classroom talk, you're dancing around with complicated language and abbreviations and inside language instead of being raw and simple and clear and to the point and being direct with somebody. Drop those three confusers from your communication toolbox and you'll be much more clearly understood as a recreational referee.